In this section, we're going to cover maps. Now, I know everybody's going to get really excited because what you see before you is Google Maps, the actual application. And in this application, you can move it around, you can interactively zoom in, do pretty much anything you want to do, driving directions, you name it, put pins, all that fun stuff. But there's fundamentally a problem with Flutter and Google Maps. The package isn't fully developed yet. So let's actually find it here. Yeah, the map view Flutter plugin for displaying maps. I've already got it open here, but if you scroll down, you'll read a bunch of installation directories. You need a bunch of permissions. You've got to modify the manifest file in Android. But if you read the fine print, it says this plugin does not currently support displaying a Google map within a Flutter widget hierarchy. What does that mean? What it really means is you can't actually display Google Maps. What you can do is display a static map or an image. And then there's some kind of, I don't want to call them hacks, but there's some workarounds that you can use. The problem is they're really ugly and they're not very smooth. So at the time of this recording, we're going to avoid Google Maps and instead we're going to use the flutter_map package. And when you are in pub.dartlang, it's actually the first thing that pops up, Flutter Map. Now, when you look at Flutter Map, there really isn't a whole lot of information here. And it seems kind of, well, simple. Well, that's just it. It's dead simple. And it uses something called OpenStreetMap, which is open source mapping. It's pretty slick, pretty simple. There are some limitations, and we're going to go over those. So the first thing we want to do here is grab our dependency. And let's open up our pubspec.yaml. Do a packages get. And wait for that to pull it down. All right, we're good there. Now we can go ahead and work with this thing. I am just going to, through the magic of copy and paste, do some imports. So what we're really importing is the Flutter map package and lat_long package. That way we can work with latitude and longitudes. From here, we're going to just play around with our widget hierarchy. So what we've got here is a container with some padding, a center, and then in the center here, we want to actually get rid of some stuff here. We got our column, and let's get rid of this right here because we don't need that. So in our column, let's add a new flexible. And you can see the flexible is going to want a child. So let's drop this down. And let's add a new Flutter map. Now, Flutter map looks very simplistic, and it kind of is. I mean, that's kind of the beauty, and that's why I really fell in love with this package. So first thing we're going to do is set some options. We're going to say options, and then we need new map options. We want to center this, and let's center this on a new lat_long. And I'm just going to paste in some coordinates here. Rather than typing that out, just seems a lot easier. And then we're going to set the zoom level here. So really what we've done is we've said we want a map, we want to set the center with a latitude and a longitude, and then we want a zoom level here. Save that, and let's actually run this and see what it looks like so far. I have a feeling it's not going to show much because OpenMap uses something called layers, and we're going to have to add a tile layer in here, but I just want to double check and make sure. Might take a few seconds. I'm going to pump the APK out there, and yeah, boom. Map was called on null, receiver null, map widget closure, layer options widget. So we have to go ahead and add our layers in here. Let's go ahead and kill that. Let's go down here. We've got our map options. Add our layers. And we want a new tile layer options. We want a URL template. And this is a bit long, so I'm just going to copy it and then explain it. So the old template is, as you can see, well, a URL, but we have a subdomain followed by Z, X, and Y coordinates. So that's your zoom, your X, and your Y, or your latitude, longitude. And then we're just going to have some subdomains in there too as well. So we'll add subdomains. And this is how it actually pulls down the graphics. So we've got our A, B, and C. Save that. Let's see if hot reloading took it. And sure enough, it did. There is a zoom level 5 of Chicago right there. Let's zoom this in or zoom out. Let's say zoom 1 and see what that does to us here. Absolutely nothing. So let's rerun the whole thing. And zoom out is 1. So there's going to be a limit. I think it's like 12. I haven't really played around too much, but you can see 1 just zooms all the way out and we can get pretty much half the globe here. So let's just put this at like a zoom 10. Yeah, hot reload didn't do it, so let's run that again. And there's Chicago. So that is a super quick, super easy way of getting a map in there. Now you can see by default it's interactive. I can grab this thing, I can move it around, I can pinch it and zoom in, zoom out. It might take a little bit to pull the images down because you're sucking each one of those tiles down individually. The caching for OpenStreetMaps really isn't as good as Google Maps, but for an open source thing, it's actually pretty amazing.